Imagine waking up to a world where the streets are silent and the pulse of life has vanished. This isn't just fiction, it's the chilling reality of 28 Days Later. Welcome to Movies Review, where we dive deep into the cinematic worlds that captivate our imaginations. Today we unravel the eerie silence and the chaos that follows in Danny Boyle's groundbreaking film, 28 Days Later, a movie that not only redefined the post-apocalyptic horror genre, but also left an indelible mark on the zombie narrative, earning critical acclaim and a cult following. In this video, we'll explore the harrowing journey of survival against a backdrop of desolation. We'll dissect the moments that made us hold our breath, the decisions that questioned our morality, and the lesser-known facts that shaped this cinematic masterpiece. So why should you stick around till the end? Because we're about to reveal insights that even the most avid fans might have missed. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us on this thrilling ride through the best and the most intriguing of movie lore. Once again, welcome to Movies Review, your portal to the stories behind the stories on screen. Let's get started. Before we talk about the harrowing journey of our protagonist, Jim, let's rewind to the chilling origins of the chaos that engulfed our world. It all began in a nondescript laboratory nestled within the historic city of Cambridge. Picture this: a dimly lit room, sterile white walls, and the faint hum of machinery. In the heart of this facility, scientists conducted experiments that would alter the course of humanity forever. Their focus? A chimpanzee, innocent, unsuspecting, and tragically caught in the crossfire of human ambition. The animal rights activists, fueled by their unwavering conviction, infiltrated the lab, their mission to liberate the imprisoned chimp. But little did they know that this act of compassion would unleash a nightmare beyond imagination. As the cage door swung open, the chimpanzee emerged, its eyes wide with fear and confusion. Yet it carried something far more sinister within its veins, a virus engineered to amplify rage, to strip away reason, and to transform docile creatures into frenzied predators. The activists had unwittingly set loose a biological time bomb. The virus, like wildfire, spread from host to host. It didn't discriminate. Humans, animals, anyone in its path succumbed to its wrath. Panic swept through the streets, and society crumbled under the weight of fear and desperation. Communication networks faltered, hospitals overflowed, and law and order disintegrated. The collapse was swift, merciless. Within days, bustling cities turned into ghost towns. The once vibrant tapestry of civilization unraveled, leaving behind a bleak canvas of survival. And so, as we step into Jim's shoes, remember this: the world he wakes up to isn't merely post-apocalyptic. It's a realm where humanity teeters on the precipice, where every heartbeat echoes the struggle for existence. Our journey begins here, in the aftermath of that fateful release, a world infected, enraged, and forever changed. Stay with us as we delve deeper into the heart-pounding narrative of 28 Days Later. The answers lie in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. Welcome to the unraveling. Welcome to the end of days. And if you're finding this tale as gripping as we do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're Movies Review, and we're about to plunge headfirst into the abyss. Buckle up. It's going to be one hell of a ride. Before we talk about the harrowing journey of our protagonist, Jim, let's step into the eerie silence of a deserted hospital. Imagine the flickering fluorescent lights, the antiseptic smell clinging to the walls, and the distant echoes of footsteps, all amplified by the absence of life. Jim awakens, disoriented, from a coma that has robbed him of weeks, maybe months. His eyes flutter open, adjusting to the dimness. The world outside his hospital room window is a grayscale canvas. London, once vibrant and bustling, now reduced to a haunting stillness. As Jim stumbles through the corridors, he encounters remnants of humanity, abandoned gurneys, overturned chairs, and cryptic messages scrawled on walls. The hospital, once a sanctuary, now feels like a tomb. The air hangs heavy with unanswered questions. Outside, the cityscape tells a grim tale. Streets devoid of traffic, storefronts shattered, and nature reclaiming its territory. Jim's footsteps echo louder than his heartbeat. He's not alone. Other survivors emerge from the shadows, their eyes reflecting fear, grief, and determination. They form an unlikely alliance, bound by necessity rather than trust. Selena, the fierce survivor with a blade-sharp gaze. Mark, haunted by loss and guilt. Hannah, the young girl who clings to hope like a fragile thread. Together, they navigate the desolation, scavenging for food, water, and safety.
But survival isn't just about avoiding the infected, those rage-driven beings that prowl the streets, their humanity stripped away. It's also about navigating the treacherous currents of human nature. Desperation breeds betrayal, and alliances fracture under the weight of fear. Jim's journey becomes a microcosm of humanity's struggle. They seek refuge in an abandoned mansion, its walls both sanctuary and prison. The infected claw at the doors, their hunger insatiable. Within, tensions rise, rationed food, whispered secrets, and the gnawing fear that they're the last flicker of civilization. And then there's Frank, the military man who promises salvation, but his intentions remain murky. Is he a savior or a puppet master? Jim grapples with trust, torn between survival instincts and the fragile bonds forged in adversity. As the group ventures beyond London, they encounter pockets of resistance, survivors who cling to hope, makeshift communities that defy the odds. But the infected are relentless, and the struggle intensifies. Sacrifices must be made, alliances tested, and hope redefined. Jim's journey isn't just about survival, it's about reclaiming humanity from the brink. In this desolate world where the line between monster and man blurs, Jim's choices ripple through time. And as we follow his footsteps, we're reminded that survival isn't just about breathing. It's about what we become in the process. Stay with us, fellow wanderers, as we unravel the threads of 28 days later. The clock ticks, the infected close in, and Jim's fate hangs in the balance. Welcome to the heart of darkness. And if you're as intrigued as we are, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're Movies Review, and we're about to dive deeper into the abyss. Buckle up, the infection spreads, and so does our curiosity. Before we talk about the fateful journey to Manchester, let's imagine the radio crackling to life in the dimly lit room where our survivors huddle. The static clears, and a voice, stern, authoritative, pierces the silence. It's the military, broadcasting hope like a lifeline. Attention all survivors, the voice declares. Seek refuge at the Manchester blockade. We offer protection, supplies, and a chance to rebuild. Coordinates follow. And so, with weary hearts and cautious optimism, our ragtag group sets forth. The streets stretch before them, a desolate highway leading to salvation. Jim, Selena, Mark, and Hannah, their footsteps echo determination. They've survived the infected, betrayal, and their own demons. Now Manchester beckons. The journey isn't just physical, it's a pilgrimage of shattered dreams. They pass remnants of lives once lived, abandoned cars, faded billboards, and graffiti that mocks their hope. The radio's promise hangs like a fragile thread, tugging them forward. As they near Manchester, anticipation swells. The city rises on the horizon, a fortress of possibility. But the twist awaits. The military's embrace isn't warm, it's cold, clinical. Armed guards scrutinize them, eyes devoid of empathy. The survivors are processed like commodities, blood tests, questions, and the unsettling realization that safety comes at a cost. Inside the walls, Manchester reveals its true face. Fear simmers beneath the surface, whispers of disappearances, curfews, and the unspoken truth. The infected aren't the only monsters. The military wields power, and dissent is crushed. Jim's hope wavers, Selena's blade stays sharp, and then they meet Major West, the enigma at the heart of it all. His eyes hold secrets, ambition, desperation, madness. He's the architect of this sanctuary, and his vision clashes with theirs. The survivors become pawns in a game of survival, where loyalty is currency and trust a liability. The challenges mount, rations dwindle, tensions escalate, and the infected still claw at the gates. Jim's loyalty fractures, to Selena, to Hannah, to humanity itself. The twist isn't just about survival. It's about choosing sides. Does he follow West's iron-fisted rule, or risk everything for freedom? In the heart of Manchester, alliances fray. Jim confronts West, unraveling the web of deception. The military's promise was a half-truth. Protection, yes, but at the cost of autonomy. The infected aren't the enemy. It's the hunger for power that threatens them all. And so, as the city teeters on the brink, Jim faces his ultimate test. The twist isn't just about survival. It's about reclaiming humanity. Will he bow to West's tyranny, or ignite the spark of rebellion? Manchester's fate hangs in the balance, and Jim's choice echoes through the silent streets. Stay with us, fellow wanderers, as we navigate this treacherous terrain. The climax awaits: blood, betrayal, and the haunting question, what price are they willing to pay for safety? And if you're as captivated as we are, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're Movies Review, and we're about to plunge into the heart of darkness.
Buckle up, the twists are just beginning. As the sun dipped below the decaying skyline, our survivors stood shoulder to shoulder, a fragile barricade against the relentless tide of infected. Their breaths misted in the cold air, and their eyes held the weight of a world that had crumbled around them. This was their final stand. Jim, once a man lost in the fog of coma, had become a reluctant leader. His hands gripped the makeshift weapon, a piece of rebar, rusted and stained. Selena's blade gleamed, its edge honed by necessity. Mark, haunted by memories of his past failures, squared his shoulders, and young Hannah, wide-eyed and resilient, clung to hope like a talisman. The infected surged, their snarls snarls drowning out the wind. Teeth gnashed, fingers clawed, and blood sprayed. Jim's heart pounded, not just from fear, but from the realization that survival wasn't enough. Humanity hung in the balance. Would they become monsters themselves, or would they defy the darkness? And then it happened, the twist that shattered their fragile equilibrium. Major West, the architect of Manchester's sanctuary, revealed his true intentions. The military wasn't salvation, it was tyranny. Jim's loyalty splintered. Selena's blade found a new purpose. The infected were no longer the sole threat. In the chaos, alliances fractured. Jim confronted West, their eyes locking, defiance against authority. The city burned, both metaphorically and literally. The survivors faced a choice: submit or rebel. The consequences rippled through time, echoing the movie's core themes. It wasn't just about breathing, it was about what they were willing to sacrifice: food, safety, trust, all weighed against the backdrop of a ravaged world. Jim's journey mirrored our own struggle. When society crumbles, what remains? Compassion, resilience, and the flicker of hope. The survivors clung to their humanity, even as it slipped through their fingers. The virus, a creation of human hands, had unleashed hell. It questioned our hubris, our insatiable curiosity. What price would we pay for knowledge? What monsters would we birth? And so, as Jim faced West, the resolution unfolded. Manchester burned, but not in vain. Rebellion sparked, a beacon for those who dared to reclaim their humanity. Sacrifices were made, lives lost, but hope endured. As we wrap up this journey, fellow cinephiles, remember that 28 Days Later isn't just a movie, it's a mirror. We see our fragility, our resilience, and our capacity for both destruction and redemption. And perhaps in this desolate landscape, we find a glimmer of what it means to be truly alive. If you've enjoyed this unraveling, hit that like button, a small act of defiance against the chaos. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Movies Review. We're not just surviving, we're thriving in the aftermath. Until next time, wanderers, stay curious, stay human. As the credits roll and the echoes of 28 Days Later fade, we find ourselves standing at the crossroads of terror and introspection. This film isn't just a cinematic experience, it's a visceral plunge into our collective fears and vulnerabilities. The impact of 28 Days Later reverberates beyond the screen. Danny Boyle's vision shattered conventions, redefining the horror genre. No longer were zombies mere lumbering corpses, they became vessels of rage, a reflection of our own suppressed fury. The handheld camera work immersed us in the chaos, blurring the line between observer and victim. Viewers emerged breathless, haunted by the flicker of red eyes in deserted streets. Before 28 Days Later, zombies shuffled through B-movies, their threat diluted by familiarity. But Boyle injected adrenaline, a shot of urgency that jolted the genre awake. Suddenly, survival wasn't about barricading doors, it was about navigating moral mazes. The infected weren't just monsters, they were mirrors, reflecting our primal instincts and fractured humanity. And therein lies the heart of this film, the moral questions that gnaw at our conscience. When society crumbles, what remains? Is survival justification enough for any act? Can we cling to empathy when desperation claws at our souls? 28 Days Later doesn't offer easy answers. It thrusts us into the abyss and demands introspection. So, dear viewers, as you hit that like button, remember that horror isn't confined to dark alleys or flickering screens. It resides within us, in the choices we make, the alliances we forge, and the lines we cross. Subscribe to Movies Review, because we're not just dissecting films, we're dissecting our own fears and frailties. Until next time, stay curious, stay human, and may your nightmares be thought-provoking.